Welcome back, everyone, to the Working With Me podcast, episode 2.
Episode 2.
We're diving deep today into Working With Me documents, kind of like user manuals, but for people at work, right?
That's a great way to think about it.
So it's giving people insight into your work style.
Exactly. It helps everyone figure out the best way to work together.
I like it.
And, there's this research of a solution for workplace communication, and they found that bad communication actually makes productivity drop by like 25%.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of time just wasted because people aren't on the same page.
It is.
So these Working With Me documents, how do they help?
They're like a framework so people can understand your preferences and how you work best, and that helps people collaborate.
Okay, so you're preventing problems before they even happen.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So where do we even start? What goes into one of these documents?
So usually they're broken up into different sections, each one giving like a full picture of your work personality.
Okay, cool. So we're breaking it down section by section.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, perfect.
So the first section is usually called My Role.
So this is where you explain like what you do professionally, like your responsibilities and stuff.
Exactly. You're clarifying your position within the team or the whole organization, and that's the basis for how others see you and work with you professionally. It's super important to be clear and concise in this part.
Yeah, I bet this also helps you figure out like your own strengths and how you fit into the bigger picture.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic chance to reflect on your own role and expertise.
Yeah. Okay, cool. What's next after that My Role section?
The next one is core values.
Oh, interesting.
This one's all about the principles that guide how you approach work and life.
So these are like your non-negotiables, the things that are super important to you.
Precisely. By sharing these, you're giving others a peek into what motivates you and how you make decisions. It's a really great way to build trust and understanding within a team.
So for example, if someone really values efficiency, they might like to communicate in a very direct and concise way.
That's a perfect example. When we understand each other's values, we can start to see how our colleagues will approach things, and we can adjust how we talk to them to make it better.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wow, this is already getting pretty insightful. Okay, so what's the next section?
After core values, we typically move on to personality traits.
Ooh. Okay, so now we're getting into those like unique quirks and stuff.
Exactly. It's all about those qualities that make you. Are you introverted, extroverted? You like structure or going with the flow?
Yeah.
This section really encourages self-reflection and helps others get you.
Like you're giving them a heads up on how you operate.
Precisely.
I could see how that would help avoid misunderstandings.
Totally. Like, imagine if you know your colleague is an introvert and needs a little quiet time after a big meeting. Knowing that can help create a more supportive and productive environment for everyone.
Makes sense. So we've got My Role, core values, personality traits. What's next in this Working With Me journey?
Okay, so the next one is all about your preferred work environment.
That one seems pretty straightforward. Like, do you prefer a quiet office or busy co-working space?
That's definitely part of it, but it goes deeper than that.
Okay.
It's also about how you work best and your problem-solving style.
Yeah.
Do you like to jump into a project, or do you need a detailed plan first?
I see. So this is where you say how you work best and what makes you the most productive.
Exactly. It's all about setting yourself up to succeed.
This would be super helpful for managers when they're assigning projects.
Absolutely. By understanding everyone's preferences, managers can create teams that work well together. And that can mean more efficiency, less conflict, and a more harmonious workplace overall.
Wow, I'm really seeing how these Working With Me documents could be great for everyone involved.
It's like a blueprint for better teamwork.
Totally. And we're just getting started.
We are.
What else can we expect in the next sections of this Working With Me document?
So next up, let's dive into work style, which is all about how you like to communicate and collaborate.
Okay, I'm all ears. All right.
This section is all about how you like to communicate, like, are you an email person, or do you prefer Zoom, or even face-to-face?
Yeah, like figuring out how you best give and receive information.
Exactly. And it also covers how much detail you like. Do you prefer short bullet points, or do you need like a full report?
Oh my gosh, I totally get that. I used to work with someone who would send these super long emails. It was like reading a novel.
Oh, wow.
I much prefer just short and sweet, get to the point.
Yeah, knowing those preferences can save everyone so much time and frustration. Like if you're working with someone who likes visuals, you might want to create a diagram or a flow chart instead of sending them a huge document.
Right? It's all about adapting to the person you're working with.
Yeah.
Makes total sense. Okay, what's after work style?
Okay, so next we've got meetings.
Ooh, Meetings can be a real drag if they're not done well.
Yeah, for sure.
What kind of stuff should we include in this section?
This is where you talk about how often you like to have meetings the best times and how you like to participate. Do you prefer daily check-ins or weekly updates? Are you a morning person or do you work better later in the day?
I bet knowing everyone's preferences for meetings would help teams make a schedule that works for everyone.
Absolutely. And it also covers how you like to participate. Some people like to talk a lot in meetings and others prefer to listen first.
Yeah, I've definitely been in those meetings where it's like one person's show and everyone else is just quiet.
It happens.
Having this info beforehand could help make things more balanced so everyone feels comfortable sharing.
Exactly. It's about setting clear expectations for how meetings should go.
Awesome. Okay, what's next on the list?
Next up is feedback, which is all about setting guidelines for giving and receiving constructive criticism.
Oh, this is a good one. Feedback is so important for growth, but it can be tough to navigate sometimes, especially at work.
Yeah, it can be tricky.
So it's really helpful to know what people prefer. Do they like direct feedback or a more gentle approach? Do they want it in person or by email?
Exactly. Knowing these things can help make sure feedback is helpful and respectful.
Yeah.
Finding that sweet spot where it's useful but not discouraging.
Right, it's got to be actionable.
Exactly. And it's not just about receiving feedback, it's also about giving it. How do you prefer to give feedback? Do you focus on what needs improvement or do you start by highlighting their strength?
Again, it's about adapting to the person you're working with, just like we talked about with communication style.
Oh, exactly.
Okay, cool. So we've covered communication preferences, meeting styles, feedback guidelines. What's next?
So this next section, management style, might not apply to everyone, but it's really important for those in leadership roles.
I can see how this would be super helpful for both managers and their teams. What does this section cover?
This is where managers can explain their approach to leadership, delegating tasks, and motivating their team. Are they more collaborative and supportive? Or do they prefer a more direct style? Do they prioritize individual growth, or are they really focused on results?
I imagine having this info up front would help team members understand what their manager expects and adapt their own style accordingly.
Totally. And it can also help managers become more aware of their own leadership style and how it affects the team.
Yeah, it creates more transparency and understanding.
Exactly.
Okay, what comes after management style?
The next section is decision making.
Decision making, that's a big part of any job, but we all have different ways of going about it.
Yeah, we do.
So what's in this section?
This is about how you prefer to make decisions and solve problems. Are you someone who needs a lot of data? Or do you trust your gut feeling? Do you like to get input from others? Or do you prefer to make quick decisions on your own?
Understanding those preferences can be so helpful for teams, especially when you're working on big projects that need everyone to be on the same page.
It can definitely help prevent those conflicts that come up when people have totally different ways of making decisions.
For sure. This is starting to feel like a complete guide to navigating pretty much any situation at work.
That's the goal.
Okay, what else is on our list?
Well, no workplace is perfect. So we have a section dedicated to conflict resolution.
Oh, that's important. Conflicts happen, but it's how we handle them that matters.
Exactly. And in this section, you explain how you prefer to deal with conflict. Do you like to address things head on and find a solution quickly? Or do you take a more indirect approach? Are you comfortable with confrontation? Or do you prefer to find common ground?
I can see how this would be especially useful for managers who have to deal with conflict between team members.
Yeah, it's all about having a plan for resolving disagreements in a way that's respectful and productive.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's one last section, additional notes. What's that for?
This is your chance to add anything else that's important, but didn't fit into the other sections.
So it's like a catch-all for those little quirks and preferences that make you unique.
Exactly. You can use it to talk about how you learn best, the types of projects you enjoy, or anything else you think people should know.
I bet this is where people can really let their personality shine through.
It's a chance to add that personal touch.
So we've gone through all the main parts of a Working With Me document. It's amazing how much thought goes into making one of these. It's like a roadmap for successful collaboration.
It really is, and the best part is that they can change over time as you grow and learn new things.
That makes sense. We're all constantly evolving, so our work styles and preferences might change too.
Yeah, the key is to keep them updated and use them to keep improving.
This has been a really insightful deep dive into Working With Me documents. It seems like they're not just about avoiding those little misunderstandings, but about really making the most of working together and helping everyone reach their full potential.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what's really cool? a solution for workplace communication, actually proposes this super innovative idea for taking these documents to a whole new level.
Oh, wow. Okay, tell me more. I want to hear about this.
So they suggest creating like a website, a whole platform dedicated to these working with me documents.
Oh, so it's not just like a file on your computer. It's accessible to everyone you work with.
Exactly. Imagine like a central hub where you can create and store and share your document. It could totally change how teams work together.
That's a really cool idea. It would be like everyone's on the same page from the start.
And the platform could even have templates and ways to customize it so it's super easy to use.
I like that.
Scaling People workbooks even talks about adding personality tests into these documents.
Oh, wow. How would that work?
So you could take a personality test and then those results would automatically fill in parts of your working with me document. It would be like a data-driven way to understand your work style.
Yeah, it would be so convenient. It's like having a personalized guide created just for you.
Yeah, and think about how much easier it would be for teams to work together. There would be fewer misunderstandings, better communication, and everyone could be way more productive.
We could finally get back that 25% productivity loss and then some.
Exactly.
This could really change workplace culture for the better.
Totally. And scaling People workbooks takes it even further, suggesting that these documents could be used for things like onboarding new employees or planning team events.
Well, that's smart. It would help create a stronger team from the very beginning.
It's all about building a culture of transparency, understanding, and respect. By using these working with me documents, we can really take teamwork and collaboration to a whole new level.
I'm so glad we had this conversation. It's really opened my eyes to how valuable these documents can be. They're so much more than just a list of preferences. They're a powerful tool for building stronger teams and achieving amazing things.
I totally agree. It's about shifting our mindset from me to we and understanding that when we know how to work with each other, we can achieve incredible things together.
So what can our listeners do today to start using Working With Me documents?
Start by thinking about your own work style and communication preferences. What makes you tick? What helps you do your best work?
And think about those times when you felt frustrated or misunderstood at work. Could a Working With Me document have helped in those situations?
And if you're ready to create your own document, we have a great resource for you, workingwithmedoc.card.co. It's a fantastic place to start with templates, customization options, and more.
It sounds like a must-have for anyone who wants to improve their teamwork skills.
Remember, these documents aren't just about avoiding conflict. They're about working together better and achieving great things as a team.
Thanks for listening to the Working With Me podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.